So we're here with another video again, talking about Project L and talking about the other regions for the characters that could be potentially coming to Project L. So in the last video we talked about the characters that were going to be hopefully coming from Piltover. And because we just did Piltover last time, and because Arcane is also finished release, I think it's fair that we only do Zaun. So since the last video, nothing has actually been confirmed for Project L. We still have actually diddly details, a whole bunch of things for other video games, except Dragon Ball Fighters, and NetherRealm Studios games. But we actually still are waiting for actual stuff for Project L, but we're still going to be talking about the characters we want to see. So this is all going to be just literal speculation. Nothing is actually solid yet for Project L. Also, too, unlike the other video where actually no character was confirmed for Piltover, we actually do have a few characters that are confirmed for Zaun. Those characters being Echo and Jinx. So I'll actually put those two characters at the top, just letting you guys know those characters are going to be in the game. No shit, obviously, cannot make this blatant enough. These characters are confirmed. I'm not going on and on. So you can take a look here. We actually have the characters from Zaun. That being Echo, Blitzcrank that I goofed up last time and I fucking put in Piltover by accident. Dr. Mundo, Janna, Renata Glask, Zeri, Ziggs, Twitch, Singed, Zack, Warwick, worst character in Arcane, I mean Jinx, Urgot, and my lad, Victor. So let me put them in the list where I actually think they are most likely to actually appear in Project L. And again, dude, this is all just speculation for fun. And cut to when the list is finished.
Power of editing, baby!
As you can see from the list seems a little bit more unusual than a more generic list. Right now, the character I have at the very top, like I said, my lad, Victor. There is definitely some things with Victor that I think need to be definitely addressed when I say Victor is probably the most likely to actually come into Project L. Victor played such a huge role in Arcane, I think it's very likely we're going to be seeing quite a few characters from Arcane absolutely come into Project L, just because it's a lot of fan favorite characters that people want to see. Now, when you saw Arcane, tiny spoilers, you'll notice that Victor is not an antagonist. Right now, Project L does not actually have a release date, and it's looking like 2022 might actually not happen, and 2023, 2024, or even later is actually the more probable release date for Project L, giving more time for Arcane Season 2 to release, and to actually see more stuff actually happen with Victor. If you're not aware, more spoilers, Victor does become an antagonist where he transforms his body severely more into machines, where he starts to lose more of his morality. Honestly, not acting for YouTube. It's really sad. It's a really sad story. Now, when it comes to actually animation takes freaking years to make. It is something that is definitely not simplistic. It is extremely difficult, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, and a lot of animation actually does get either gone over, revised, scrapped, tossed, yada 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 yada. This is the reason why you see stuff like Rick and Morty or even new seasons of Demon Slayer take so long to come out. It is difficult. If Victor is not one of the characters that is first in, I think he'd be a very likely DLC character, if not one of the first DLC characters. The thing is with Victor, Victor can actually provide a lot of zoning, and if they want to actually have a zoner, Victor would be a phenomenal character to do it. Victor has so many different moves that are so distinct and so iconic, zoning would be flawless. He'd be something very similar to Captain Cold from Injustice 2. Very just distinct moves. Next, the A tier. Warwick, Blitzcrank, Zack, and Dr. Mundo. Another character from Arcane, potentially. So, just a huge thing. The other thing is Warwick would actually provide some definite aggression if he was actually put into Project L. Having a beast-like character that is also bipedal makes things very, very unique, and would definitely provide some very interesting gameplay parts. Actually have a human structure. This would make things actually a lot simpler for animation. That also being said, I'm sure Warwick could actually be very interesting to have a crazy aggressive ass moveset. Blitzcrank finally put in his correct spot in Zaun, even though I'm still editing this at, yep, that's 6 in the morning. Blitzcrank being a very big-bodied character, and actually a character that is very iconic for the entire game. I think it's very obvious why he'd be put in the game. But that being again too, there are so many other characters that might have better movesets to be put in, or Blitzcrank might not get in. Zack! I'm putting Zack very high on the list because he can actually provide things that other characters could not. The fact that his limbs are very stretchy, very reminiscent of Super Skrull from Marvel vs. Capcom 3, or even Piccolo in Dragon Ball FighterZ, that and the fact that the guy can actually frickin' move, he'd be something that's very unique to Project L. Only problem is his design is actually pretty generic, and I don't know if he'd actually have a gigantic priority to be put into Project L. Dr. Mundo. Dr. Mundo recently had his rework, and it would not be a big surprise if they wanted to put Mundo into Project L because they put a lot of effort making him a lot more simplistic and his design actually fitting into lore a lot better with Arcane. Problem being that his combat is pretty straightforward, and I don't even know if they would put him into it because he might not actually provide anything too unique from other characters. B tier, Renata Glask and Singed. So here's where things start to get a little bit The reason Renata Glask could be this high on the list is if there was going to be a character that would be a zoner or a character that relies on unorthodox combat, I'm pretty sure it would be Renata Glask. Everything with her chemicals, her drone, they are absolutely very unique and make her stand apart. The fact that she also has a gun for even more zoning, she'd be a character that does not require physical combat, and I think this would be the only reason they actually put her in. That being said, if they don't really want to have a huge emphasis with zoners, there is going to be a very low chance she actually makes it into the game. Singed. Here's the awkward one. Here's the one that is Bucko. He does provide things that are similar to other characters, but honestly, this guy could kind of go anywhere. Another character from Arcane, but he doesn't provide too much in terms of different movesets, but he does provide unique options for combat in terms of flips, in terms of stuns, in terms of using his chemicals. But I don't really think he has anything too crazy, but it's very hard to tell with this guy. C tier, Urgot, Ziggs, Janna, and Twitch. So, the reason I have Urgot so low is even though he is a fantastic character and is very unique in the lore, and it would be very interesting to see in the game, animating him would be a just absolute mess and a half. Please tell the animators that you want a completely different character model that is completely specific to Urgot, and everything has to line up, look smooth, work great. It's such a huge workload where I just think it would be just easier for them not to actually put Urgot in. So unfortunately, it's probably not the answer a lot of people want to hear-ish, but sorry. Ziggs. I don't really think Ziggs would actually provide too much. Again, too, it's very similar to Renata Glask, where it's zoning. Depends if they really want zoning, but unlike Renata Glask, Ziggs doesn't provide as much unique things to actual combat. That and Yordles are going to be a completely unique character model, so I don't actually know if Project L is going to even have Yordles. It's very hard to tell. Janna. Problems with Janna is going to be the fact that she actually doesn't really have anything too physical with combat, and I don't really think she's going to provide too much for zoning. The fact that she is an enchanter support definitely hurts a lot of things, where she is a lot more supportive character. I don't think she's going to actually make it in the game, unfortunately. She'd be a very fun character to have, but I don't think it's likely we'll see Janna. Twitch, same issue with Urgot, Ziggs. The character model is going to be very hard, and the fact that also he rely very heavily on zoning. His chemicals would be very interesting, but the guy would be a zoner, and a very small model zoner is going to be hard if they want to put Twitch in the game. And I think Twitch is not going to be the highest character on the priorities, unfortunately. And last, the character I think that is not the most likely to actually come into Project L, and a actual big surprise, Zeri! Zeri is one of the newest characters in League of Legends. She just came out in 2022, and the reason I think Zeri is the most unlikely to come into the game is one word: mobility. She can actually have physical moves in combat, but the thing is, the whole design of her is the fact that she is able to move around all across Summoner's Rift very smoothly. That is very difficult to do in a 2D fighter, and I think would be a nightmare and a half. That does not mean it is impossible, because Zeri is a newer character. They could definitely want to put her in, and the fact that she is more of a superhero-ish character for Zaun. But again, too, this is more strictly talking about the actual characters for combat. So that's where I have the characters right now. This list is definitely... it's... oh, please leave comments down below telling me your opinions. I always love to read comments. Tell me what region you want to see next. We'll hopefully be having an Elden Ring video out soon. More stuff for Project L, blah, blah, blah. But thank you all for watching. Please go check Twitter. Please go check Twitch. And just remember, Ninja can foreclose rooms.